Hi. The purpose of today's video is to show you that a preset created using the C2's OLED menu can be used in the MECHA's user interface, and vice versa, starting with firmware version 12401. We will display this image of Fanotec products on a screen and take photos of the area that includes the screen. But let's create the preset first. Here we have the C2's interface, which can be accessed at MECHA-IP/C2, and it can be used instead of the C2 controller. We have set the arrow's speed to 0 because we are using a long focal length lens and we need smooth movements. Switch to the preset menu, find an empty option, then enter edit mode with the plus button. MECHA uses the previous preset as a template for the current preset. That's why we have these settings now. We will leave the focal length unchanged, and the number of camera trigger signals per position as well. We are only going to change a few settings, actually. The duration of the shutter button signal, to 1 second. The width and height of the panorama will be ignored if you specify corners either when creating the preset or when launching the preset. The camera orientation is portrait in our case. We will specify corners later, when launching the preset. Press the center button to save the preset. And press it again to launch the preset. Now you can level the upper rail if needed, and if you want to photograph a partial panorama, it's time to specify corners. You need to press the menu button. Then, using the arrow buttons, rotate the camera to the upper left corner. We want the upper left corner of the panorama to be here, so we are pressing the center button to set it. After that you are asked to set the down right corner. Rotate the camera to the bottom right corner using the arrow buttons, as before, and set the corner with the center button. This setting will override the corners and extents of the panorama already specified in this preset. The corners being set, you can press menu if you want to check them. You can even adjust them further, if needed, but don't forget to confirm the change with the center button. MECHA automatically rotates the camera to the other corner as well. If it's good as it is, just press the center button to confirm. You can check the corners as many times as you want before launching the preset. Use the menu button to check the first corner, then press it again to check the second corner. And if there is nothing to adjust, press it one more time to return to the initial position. You can just as well use the center button for this purpose. If the direction of rotation is not specified in preset, press either the left or right button to specify it. And now MECHA will start executing the preset. On the user interface, which is the same for both C1 and C2 MECHA controllers, the slider handle, representing the camera, moves from one position to another just as the real camera rotates from one position to another. We have set shooting in zigzag, so after the last position of the first row, normally, the last position of the second row follows, then the first position of the third row, and so on. But we have also set the order of the rows to be MDU, that is, the middle row first, then the down row, then the up rows. At the end, the camera returns to the initial position. Notice that our preset is on page 8, at option number 0. In the list of presets in the user interface, it is easy to find this preset because its name is preceded by 080. Select it, then load it with the Load button. You can switch to Pitch and Yaw conventions and note the current view of the camera. Let's see now how a preset similar to this one can be created using the 2-axis slider in the user interface. When you need to set something, make sure that the label of this button is set. Our upper rail is in the level position already, but it is no problem if you specify its position once more by clicking the L button, which stands for level. On the other hand, if rotation to a certain position is needed, then the label of the first button must be Go. The camera rotates to the upper left corner by clicking the corner 1 button. And it rotates to the bottom right corner by clicking the corner 2 button. Also, the camera rotates to the initial position by clicking the L button. Launch the preset by clicking the right button, and you will see that the preset is executed the same as before, when it was launched from OLED. The middle row first, then the down row, then the up rows. The focal length setting, and other settings, can be changed, but we are not changing them now. On the user interface you can set corners using the 2-axis slider. Move the slider handle to the desired position and see how the camera rotates accordingly. Click the corner 1 button to set the upper left corner of your partial panorama. Remember that the label of the first button must be set. Then set the second corner in a similar way. Instead of clicking the corner 2 button to set the corner, you can click and drag the bottom right corner of the slider to the desired position. Switch to Go, then click the corner buttons if you want to preview the corners. You can check the corners as many times as you want before launching the preset. Let's save this preset and give it a name preceded by the code 081. This means that it will also be displayed in the OLED menu on page 8, at option 1, which we know is empty, in our case. For the preset to be editable on the OLED menu, you must add a plus sign before 081. The camera rotates to the initial position by clicking the L button. Now you can launch the preset by clicking the right button. The name of the preset is 081 Test Corners, and we will find it in the OLED menu on page 8, at option 1. Launch this preset as usual, and so on. Thank you for watching.